So I was just reading about the Turkish KIZILELMA drone. Seems like they've just hit a pretty big milestone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so today's deep dive is looking at a report about its afterburner takeoff capability being validated.
Oh.
And for anyone following defense tech, well, this feels like it could be quite significant, especially, for tricky operating environments.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating, I think, is what it means directly for short-runway operations.
Right.
It's not just like a little bit of extra speed, this kind of capability. It really changes the game for where and how you can actually deploy this UCAV.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. So the report, it highlights the fourth prototype, right? PT-4.
Mm-hmm.
That's the KIZILELMA UCAV, unmanned combat aerial vehicle, for those maybe less familiar. It's successfully tested and, validated, taking off using its afterburner.
Exactly, and that afterburner, it gives you that critical surge of thrust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The push you need to get airborne really fast from, not much space.
Yeah.
Think about the tactical edge there.
Right, so instead of needing these long prepared runways.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly the number of potential launch sites just opens right up, a much wider range.
So it's not just convenience then, it's really about tactical flexibility, isn't it?
It really is.
Being able to operate closer to where you need to be, maybe cutting down response times, and maybe even boosting survivability because you're not stuck in predictable spots.
Precisely. And if you think about the KIZILELMA itself, it's a jet-powered UCAV from Baykar.
Mm-hmm.
This afterburner thing, it isn't just like an add-on. It's integrated into what's already a pretty sophisticated platform that's, already making waves in the UAV world.
Okay, and this is where it gets, I think, really interesting for naval stuff.
Ah, yes.
Aircraft carriers, especially ones with shorter decks, like Turkey's TCG Anadolu. They often have limits on what can fly off them.
Right, STOVL or helicopters usually.
Exactly. So could this afterburner capability be the key, the thing that lets a jet-powered UCAV operate from that kind of ship without needing, say, traditional catapults?
Well, that's the crucial connection, isn't it? That validated short takeoff ability potentially opens the door to flying a high-performance jet UCAV off carriers that normally couldn't handle them. Carriers usually limited to helicopters or maybe those specialized tactical aircraft. Getting that to work on a UCAV, that's a big technical hurdle they seem to have cleared.
It really does highlight the progress being made, doesn't it? Validating afterburner takeoff, but on an unmanned platform.
Yeah.
That says a lot about, both the engine tech and the autonomous flight controls.
And what's quite interesting is how this one capability sort of amplifies the KIZILELMA's future potential.
How so?
Well, it's not just about taking off from shorter strips today. It hints at much greater operational flexibility, maybe a wider range of missions it could take on later.
So summing it up a bit, this ability, taking off from short runways with an afterburner, it's not just a technical feather in the cap for the KIZILELMA.
No, not at all.
It really seems to unlock a whole new level of operational use, particularly when you think about naval deployments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty clear signal about the direction unmanned systems are heading, I think. Towards being more adaptable, more capable of operating just about anywhere, even in demanding spots.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. How might this specific demonstrated capability, influence other countries? How might it change their thinking on developing and deploying their own unmanned aircraft? Especially when you consider projecting power from maybe smaller carriers or even forward bases. It really makes you wonder about the future shape of air power, doesn't it?
Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the biggest shifts in aerospace, geopolitics, and defense innovation.